Good, man. I'm glad to be back out here with the guys. It's been a long season. Just grateful to be back out here and have the opportunity to compete again with the guys.
Just how frustrating it was last year with the way things went for you.
Obviously, it's tough, but it's a team sport, and I still wanted to be there for my guys. Like RJ, he had an excellent season. Grayson Halton had an excellent season. So taking my, what I went through, my struggles, but letting somebody else understand that they had great seasons and living through them and seeing them shine, man, it made it a lot better for me going through those tough times.
How do you rebound just from a confidence standpoint when you've had multiple injuries over a couple of years?
Just stay true to who I am, straight trusting God, trusting Coach Villar, trusting Coach Venables, and trusting my teammates that I'm going to be who I am and show them every day. I got to prove them and gain their trust every single day, and that's just what I want to do. I've been through things, but God's got a plan for me, and I'm going to keep going.
How has it been for you? I mean, just you feel confident in your shoulder at this point?
I feel really good. Every day is a new challenge, but I feel amazing. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I feel great, and I'm ready for the season when it comes.
I'm sorry. Is RJ kind of a guy you can look at too? He had that early shoulder problem, but last year became the player that a lot of people thought he could be.
Now that's my brother. Words can't even explain how thankful for I am on and off the field, man. He's been there for me throughout everything in my life, and since being in college, he's been there every step of the way. So when I had this surgery, man, I remember when I came back to the house, I had surgery in Tulsa. When I came back, he was just screaming, G-Dub, G-Dub. So it was like a moment that we had, and just like seeing his success this year was amazing. It felt like I had success, so it was great.
I asked PJ about family support when your injury. What about your family support? How big has that been for you?
Amazing. That's my rock. I do it for them. That's the reason I'm still out here, keep going. And my dad, my mom, my little sister, and everybody. Words cannot explain, how grateful I am for them, and I will keep going for them.
Everything that you went through, just with the shoulder, the issues prior to it that led to the diagnosing and all that. Can you talk about what Coach Venables was through all that to you?
Coach Venables, he's been on my side through everything. I do applaud him, and thankful for them that he's going to continue to give me this opportunity to be out here and play with the team. That's the biggest thing. I want to continue to play with them, and he's been a very great support system. Him and Coach Villar have been very supportive, and I appreciate that. I really do.
Going back to it all mentally, like his first day on the job, he drives his also to recruit you. Have you talked to him about that through the years, or have you thought about that moment when he shows up like that?
Yeah, we've had conversations about that. He talks about my Booker T days every now and then, about me playing every position, quarterback, everything but corner, basically. So we joke about that, but it's been grateful to have him and Coach Villar and basically the whole defensive staff still been here since I've been here. So that's been amazing.
Gentry, what can you tell us about what you're seeing in practice from this offense from John Mateer as a quarterback?
Just being competitive. I think just what he brings, him and Coach Arbo, they just want to be competitive. And Mike done a great job with that too. He's running his group, John's running his group, Jet, and all the quarterbacks are just running their group, trying to be the best that they can do. I think that's been great, and we do appreciate that on the defensive side.
What have you seen from Giovanni
Gibson
to that offense?
Electric. He's an electric receiver. I think he brings great size, strong hands. He's been really good. I think he's progressing with the offense. He's learning it really well at this level, and I think he's going to continue to do good.
What's the team?
Tatania, I met him in high school, one of the faster dudes, so, I think he's doing really good. I think he's been helping us a lot. He'll be able to move around, and I'm just excited for him. He can catch the ball, he can run fast, so you need people like that.
Going back to Mateer, what stood out to you about the leadership aspect of the way he's handled integrating himself with his team?
Yeah, I think just with the new day age of college football, everybody has expectations, and I think he puts expectations on himself to be great, and he doesn't let anybody outside noise bother him, and I think that's been the biggest thing. He's a real person. He wants to compete just like everybody else, and that's what he's doing, and we do appreciate that. Everybody on the team does.
You've been around the program a long time. You went here obviously when got to see it during the springtime when you were getting recruited and all that type of stuff. Can you compare last year, this year, just kind of the vibe of the team overall, maybe offensively, what you see? Is there a difference that you've noticed?
I think every team has its different identity. Obviously, this team has a different quarterback, a different offensive coordinator. So, I think the traits of that coordinator, will resemble. And I think that, Arbuckle and that Mateer are doing a great job of that. And then Mike as well. They're all, emulating their offensive coordinator. And they're just, spreading across the offense. And I enjoy it. It brings energy.
Is there confidence? Is there a different level of confidence maybe?
I would say it's still early to tell. You know, they're doing a great job. You know, we're having fun. You know, which is the biggest thing. We're getting better. And we can see it.
Gentry, how much fun was it to see Eli have the year that he had last year?
Eli was doing that in the spring, so shoot, it was kind of like expectation for him. Shoot, Bowen's strapped. Everybody know that. So it wasn't, it wasn't really a surprise because how detailed he is and how smart and how focused he is. You don't see that at a young age. So I'm just completely happy for him. I know the success rate for him is going to continue to rise.
With so many new receivers in that offense, who's been giving you guys the most trouble defensively so far?
Sure, with defense, we got Coach Venable, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard just to get us all the time. But they're all doing really good. I mean, we named a couple, Giovanni, Isaiah. They're all doing good, man. I'm proud of the whole group. They've all come in because they're mostly with transfers. So to come in and learn the playbook this fast and play at a high level, I'm proud of them. So I think that's been good.
You guys lost two, I guess, big leaders for you guys in Stutzman and Bowman last year. Anybody picked up in those two roles?
Yeah. So I think G Baby's done a really good job. Kobe's done a really good job. Kip, RJ, all those guys, they played a lot last year and they were able to, to develop into that leadership role that Danny and Billy left for them. And I think they're doing a tremendous job. Even on the offensive side, Troy Everett's doing a really good job. Mateer's really doing a good job. Mike Hawkins is doing a really good job. So it's been a co-unit with everybody doing a really good job.
One more question about Eli. What about the game against Alabama last year? What he did with Ryan Williams?
He was doing a really good job against Ryan the whole game, and I think just his confidence level, he don't let the moment get too big for him. And I when he came in, as a guy that the year before I had success, but I really wanted to learn from Eli that offseason. What can I do better that you did, Eli? And he gave me all the tools, and I really do appreciate a guy like that, and just how much humility he has, and it took me to humble because Eli's a really good technique coordinator, and I want to learn from him every day.
Anything specific that you can think of that you took from him?
Eli Bowen?
Yeah.
I would just say his overall confidence. He never lets the moment get too big. I mean, we can go plays and games all across Texas, if it's Tennessee, if it's Alabama, like you named. The moment never looked too big, and that's just something I want to emulate in my game is just be, very even keel, just let the moment come to me.
What do you think about not having a spring game this year in the sense it was? I mean, I know you've been banged up some
Yes, sir.
in the off seasons, but for the young guys to not is it disappointing not to have that experience of playing in front of the fans?
It's definitely different, but I think college football is probably at a different point right now, and that everything is changing and everything's evolving. But we're getting good work, at practice. We have a really good offense that we're going to see, be able to scrimmage against 14, 15 times. So I think that's been good for us. So just having those practices, I think, has been big. The fan experience will come when it comes, but the overall work has been the most important part, and they're doing a really good job at the young guys.
Dion made a lot of waves when he said he wanted to play another team. You guys talked in the locker room about what that would be like.
I'm gonna stay out of those conversations. I'm gonna stay out of that. It would be fun, but yeah, I'm gonna leave that to Dion. I'm gonna leave that one.
Well, you're talking about
Kendall
back.
Dovey, man,
Yeah.
that's my brother. Working hard. I mean, I've seen him when he came in from NEO and just the overall transition, how he's came in, and that play against Tennessee, man, it broke my heart because of the work I know he's put in. I know what type of man he is and what he's done to get to this point. I know what he's gonna do to get to the next level, and he's gonna put that work in, and he's gonna push me to be an even better person on and off the field.
Has he been one of those guys? I guess maybe the guy that's kind of taken that role of Billy Bowman for you guys this season?
Would you, Kendall Dovey?
Yeah.
He's definitely progressed, being a vocal leader. But I think RJ, he's really taking over that safety role in that room and being a vocal leader, staying at the front of the lines. And I think RJ, he was ready for the moment, towards the end of the season when Billy was still here. But now the moment is his, and he's not looking back. I'm proud of him.
When you think back to when Kendall got injured against Tennessee, it's kind of amazing to see him out there already.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I mean, you can't thank nobody but God, and I think he would say the same thing. He's been through a lot. It's probably still unreal for him. I think that was his first major injury. We talk about it all the time. So going through something so traumatic at a high level like that, and, I think he didn't even play the week before, so he came back from an injury, and just seeing his overall growth. I'm sorry, but I'm just proud of him. He's got so much more ball to play, and he's gonna show it this year. I know he will.